Oh wow, I'm back again making another Overwatch video, bro. I'm sorry by the way that you guys have to witness Destiny 2 gameplay in the background or like just in general Destiny 2 as the game. Um I'm sorry for the audio by the way. I'm walking through a hallway in my apartment at the moment collecting some food that I made and because I watched the Overwatch shit again, the cinematic where Vendetta fights Doomfist. And bro, like, look, I'm not someone that like tries to, how we say in Germany, that is like a Zöpfchen, someone that like tries to like get quick into someone's asshole, like a Slimer, so to say. That's how we say in Germany, a Schleimer, a Slimer. I'm not a Doomfist Slimer per se because I love the character, I love the lore that we have around him. I love the character the motivation that he has, the so to say narrative that he's standing for, which is actually corresponding to our real life world in my eyes. The key figures around Doomfist and Talon like Moira, Reaper, Sombra, and I would actually say Maximilian too. But like to be honest, like I'm not a big lore YouTuber, okay? Like this is not a video where I actually break down every single aspect of the like Overwatch lore. Um, I'm just here in first deception or like in first theme to say I'm here to rant because if I learned something in my German class back at the what was it? I think it was 9 or 10th grade. Like in Germany, we have like grades from 1 to 10, and then you have basically finished the main school system, so to say, and then we have the higher class, which is like 11, 12, and 13, where you make the how we say in Germany the Abitur, which is like the college grade, like the university grade, so to say. Um, so I finished the 10th grade and then I make an apprenticeship in 2016 until 2019 in Germany. And I learned in the back, like what I said earlier, in my German lessons, basically, like from my German teacher, that you can like again like bring arguments to a table and build them up from the lowest toward the highest. And this is what I actually try to do most of the time in my life. This has cost me some issues in my life. This has also brought me minor victories in my life. And as someone that cares about franchises, as you guys have maybe learned in previous videos, and the guys that still watch me to this day, you guys have already learned that back in the day from Call of Duty and GTA and Destiny 2. I care about franchises because I love losing myself into lore of fictional stuff. If it is Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Overwatch, Destiny 2, and it goes on, goes on, and goes on. This is Overwatch right now that we are actually talking about. So the main issue that I have here is I watched the whole cinematic of Vendetta fighting with Doomfist around 5 times in the last 30 minutes. And I must say, like, look, we get the straight ahead. The cinematic is peak design. It is the same design stuff that we had back in the day with Hanzo and Genji, the Shimada brothers. It is peak. The same design with Ash and McCree, with the Deadlock gang, where he like actually dismantled Bob, took Ash like prisoner, so to say, and like awakened Echo. And yeah, like it goes on, okay? So like this is actually what people wanted, cinematics like this. But there's some problems, and we have to, how to say this right now. I'm gonna go off track right now, so I'm gonna prepare you guys right now. I'm gonna go off track right now, and I'm gonna start talking from different perspectives. I'm 28 years old. I watched movies and shows like Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Vampire Diaries, the originals, the spin-off, Navy CIS, Navy CIS LA, Arcane, Legend of the Seeker, Avatar, The Last Airbender, The Legend of Korra, yeah, like shows like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, The Flash, Arrow, what's this thing called? Legends of Tomorrow, like, and some other many more, the 100, just to say another one. I watched all of these shows, and I don't lie to you right now because I'm a fan of franchises, as I said already. I watched all of these shows like 20 to 30 times by now. And I have seen so many character and hero development and like climbing up and going down, like evolving basically, like character evolvement and motivating shiftings to certain degrees. In my eyes, in Vampire Diaries, one of the most intriguing characters, and in the originals as well, is Klaus Mikaelson, which is one of the most like best written characters in TV history in my eyes. And maybe Zuko in Avatar The Last Airbender, which also gets kind of glorified for his redemption arc that this guy actually took. But to go back to Overwatch right now, we had Overwatch lore that Doomfist, Akande Ugondimo, I think it is his name, his whole name, Akande Ugondimo, like it should be, as far as I'm informed, okay? Again, I'm a lore YouTuber, I know a lot of lore about Overwatch, but maybe not 100%. I would say maybe like 90%, 92%, maybe. So, with that out of the way, Doomfist defeated his master, which was called Adeyemi something, I don't know. If we watch the early cinematic of Doomfist, where he fights Tracer, Genji, and Winston, where Winston defeats him, Tracer is the same age as she is in Overwatch 1, where she's like 18 to 19. So, since Overwatch 2 and the lore that we have right now inside the game has passed a story time of 5 to actually 6 years. Which means that Tracer is now 23, so like accordingly 5-6 years maybe have passed since Overwatch 1 story and to Overwatch 2. 5 to 6 years, roughly. So that means that when Antonio, the father of Marisa, I don't know, I just call her Vendetta, I don't give a fuck anymore. Where Vendetta's father was a member of the Talon Council, as far as I have lore-wise figured or watched it out, basically. So, here's one of the most major errors that I actually, and not errors, like error, like a failure, so to say. One of the most major failures that I have actually quite simply, quickly brought to the table and brought to the point that literally everybody that has watched one of the shows that I have just mentioned a bit earlier and has watched the same character development that I had would literally agree on me when I say this. Her father was a council seat member. This guy was not a leading talent, okay? This guy was just like Maximilian back in the day, because all we know about Talon is that Talon doesn't have one single leader. Talon is split as a terror organization like the Akatsuki in Naruto. Yeah, Naruto by the way too. I watched it like 20-30 times. Is like the Akatsuki. The Akatsuki has, of course, one leader, which is Pain, which has like 6 figures, but it's just one person. And Conan, which is like his former associate, like the under CEO, like the chief under of executive operations, so to say. And Obito, which is like called Madara at the time, who was scheming everybody. And over the time, they shift with new members. But overall, Akatsuki has ranks, like where like some members are higher than others and give like authority kind of orders and degrees to other what they should do and what they should not do, and what like the like motive plans and what like the motive associations are, like what like the next plan is, what the next action, the next step into a major thing is, like what they should do basically. So to go back to Talon, Antonio was just a member of the Council of Talon. He wasn't the leader of Talon, okay? This is the Overwatch 1 lore that we have, and this is, as far as I've been reading some wiki Overwatch lore, this is the lore that we have. And I want to explain this right now to everybody that is, again, maybe writing certain stuff under my YouTube video. Because we need to maybe, as I mentioned with the casuals under my last video, we need to explain these maybe defending wimpy, weakling morons, loser, pathetic morons. Okay, we need to explain these people what lore basically is. Maybe they have not read a single fucking essay on Google. There are like plenty of essays that you can read what lore actually is, how it is established, what key symptoms and key points are to actually build a greater universe. And the best I can actually kinda bring to the table is Marvel. Marvel Universe, just like we just do this like in maybe 2-3 minutes right now, just a quick run through. Marvel Universe is actually ruled by the one above all, the literally god of Marvel, which is Stan Lee, which is like standing on #1 on the list of the powerful being in the universe of Marvel, so to say. Under him are like things like the Living Tribunal, the like other cosmic entities like the Celestials that we have encountered, like Arishem in the Eternals movie. These beings basically are like separated because the Living Tribunal is on the same stage like the 4 cosmic entities, which is Eternity, in Infinity, I think. Like in German it's called like Ewigkeit und Endlichkeit, which is like Infinity is Unendlichkeit and Eternity is Ewigkeit. So like Ewigkeit und Endlichkeit, like these two words in Germany nearly basically mean the same thing, but in Marvel they're like 2 separated entities. So Infinity and Eternity, Death and Entropy are the 4 cosmic entities that form the 6 Infinity Stones. The Time Stone, the Power Stone, the Reality Stone, the Mind Stone, the Soul Stone, and the Reality Stone. And these things are the most powerful things inside the Marvel Universe. And since we have this information that this is actually the case, that is the law that we have. Like the power scaling where we can deterministic actually set everybody on like a scale from like maybe 1 to 100. How powerful someone is, how weak someone is, like what his possibilities against someone else on the list maybe is. There's an entire tier list about Naruto characters as well, but to go back to Overwatch right now, the lore in Overwatch is defined by the characters' actually actions. That we have like magic, even Blizzard still denies it. We have magic in Overwatch, like Genji, Hanzo, some other characters. We have like literally plasma sort of energy, which is manifesting into like a shaped creation, which is called hard light basically. So like we have enhanced technology in it, and we have weapons. We have weapons of like similar mass destruction like Doomfist Gauntlet, so to say. Doomfist Gauntlet in the lore is described as a weapon that is capable of destroying an entire fucking skyscraper. Like literally, if you read this about the Doomfist Gauntlet, it says, I quote, a weapon of mass destruction capability which is able to destroy an entire skyscraper with one strike. That is how powerful this gauntlet is. And Doomfist has people on Talon that are like Torbjorn, for example, maybe, like who are actually engineers and can like develop this thing a bit more, because the original Doomfist thing that we got in the Overwatch cinematic, where Reaper and Widowmaker tried to retrieve it for Doomfist after he got freed of jail, because like before he fought like Winston and Tracer and Genji, to get it back to him basically. That was the job of Reaper and Widowmaker. So to go back to Doomfist, maybe this gauntlet that we see, the first one was just as the original model, but Doomfist like modified it and made it like even stronger, because Talon as Doomfist already, like this is lore again, Doomfist told us this in the cinematic with Ramatra. Talon has great resources to help Ramatra with Null Sector to become a threat that people should deal with or should like get busy with to get another war. So I assume on that lore building that Talon also has the resources to actually like kind of modify his gauntlet and to make it better. So it actually is even more destructible than it already was in the prime when he actually got it back, so to say. And to be a bit more precise, it is kind of pretty unfortunate that like for some reason this gauntlet is just like simply chopped off by a sword that actually like look again, like watch the whole cutscene, okay? Watch the entire cutscene, okay? Just watch the fucking entire cutscene again, and watch how Doomfist closes his fist to the right, like his wrist is going to the right, like he's angled it basically, and he holds the sword which is full strike into his head direction, and he holds it. The sword doesn't cut through the fingers of the fist of Doomfist, basically. He just holds the sword, and later she wounds him a bit, which, yeah, maybe can result into a loss of strength of Doomfist, but this is an aspect that I will talk about later. and then she cuts it off at the range at the elbow, basically. Like at the elbow, like certain around that, she cuts the gauntlet off and it lies it on the ground. And to go back to the wounds, by the way, Doomfist is someone, we have sprays, we have lore about it, that he was training and fighting in martial arts and like close hand combat since a young age. So he actually has years. He actually has years of training. He's older than Vendetta, so he has also like greater experience. And again, we are in a lore right now. Like again, to like kind of took a, how to say, like a metaphor, yeah, like a metaphor that you can get an image how I take certain assumptions and actually argumentable defend them. Okay, let's take a short break into Vampire Diaries and the originals. In the Vampire Diaries and the originals, we will, or you will, if you watch the show, you will encounter the original vampire species, or like the original vampire family, the Mycosans, reforming of Elijah, Klaus, Finn, Cole, and Rebecca Mycosan. Elijah says to the main character of Vampire Diaries, Elena, that the older a vampire is, the stronger he is. Or like actually it's a bit earlier confirmed in the show by a vampire named Pearl, who speaks with John Gilbert. Like all I need to say is like this guy is basically a dick, basically. Like he's just an asshole, so to say. A charismatic asshole, but he's an asshole. So Pearl confirms it that the older a vampire is, the stronger he. Oh no! Wait, she doesn't confirm it to John. She confirms it to Damon. Sorry, my bad. I flipped that point. That is on me right now. I fumbled. She confirms it to Damon. To Damon Salvatore, one of the Salvatore brothers that are actually obsessed with Elena Gilbert, the main character of the show. She confirms it to Damon because Damon was kind of trying to actually attack her, and she confirms him that she's 300 years old. And since she's older than Damon, that makes her automatically stronger, even though she just like got certainly resurrected from the near death, so to say. And later we already know, since I brought the Mycosans up, that the Mycosans, as the original vampires, are not only stronger, but can also do certain things that normal vampires can't do, like manipulating, like force manipulating or mind manipulating other vampires. And like they can only be killed with certain things. So this is the lore that we have in Vampire Diaries that we need to work with. And that is set the universe for Vampire Diaries. Like these rules are set and you can cross them to a certain degree. And to go back right now, to just like go simply back to Overwatch right now. Vendetta is not bad at fighting. I need to let her have that. And a sword is a pretty formal weapon to fight people in close range combat. But to get Doomfist's credit back, Doomfist again trained for years. So he has years ahead of Vendetta in close range combat, and he actually is a martial arts fighter. Maybe the same like Vendetta, just the difference that Vendetta has a sword. We need to actually dive a bit deeper into a different lore, because we know that she got like help from Vishka, from the company that Symmetra is working for, Satya as she's called in Overwatch for real, and from Domina, which is the new tank hero, which is also like, bro, I could literally read all the new heroes except Emra. Emra is one of the coolest hero we can actually look forward to at the new range, if you ask me, for example. But bro, like hero design is not my section on this YouTube channel, so that's maybe a topic for a different video. Vendetta actually wins the fight with Doomfist, and maybe that is because like her sword maybe got like a bit of heat up, like a bit of modification due to Vishka's technologies, but she actually already got an upper hand because Maximilian helps her, because Maximilian is I literally thought when I watched the Freya show that he's actually pretty calculated and well-minded mastermind that actually thinks a couple steps ahead. And maybe he did that when he actually offered Vendetta his help. But on the other hand, this guy is actually saying that talent is not great as it used to be. And as far as the lore from Overwatch goes, I don't even know what Maximilian is referring to. This is a lack of lore in Overwatch that we actually have, that Blizzard needs to patch. We don't know what like talent was back in the day before Doomfist actually took the seat of his master, Adeyemi. So we don't know what Talon did back in the day, like when Overwatch literally got formed, and what did Talon do back then? Was it already there? Was it created after Overwatch was created, like as a counterpart, so to say? Who were the forming members of Talon? Like, are they still alive? Are there some that are like still scheming behind the big council, and like are some having influence over Talon as a whole, so to say? Or is it just Talon that is just, yeah, that we know is a terror organization that is maybe wanting to fulfill certain things, like, and this is the point that I bring to the table right now. From what I have seen from the lore right now, from the new lore that we get basically, and watching the Domina shit that actually comes our way, I might need to say this right now, and you guys should bear with me, because I know that argumentably I'm right. What about what I say? Blizzard had like many lawsuits in like the last couple years about sexual harassment in their studio and about like male oppression against female people. This is something that doesn't happen in Germany as far as I know. Because we Germans are strict differently, or like how we say in Germany, wir Deutschen sind einfach anders gestrickt. And to be more precise, America has a disease if it comes down to certain people that work in certain spaces. And if it so happens that you have narrative designer, people that decide where the story goes and what like story maybe becomes, there are always women that actually think it is time to put their real life drama and their real life motivations and hallucination worldviews and like actually diametrically bullshit stuff into fictional franchises. This was the case with Star Wars by Kathleen Kennedy. This was the case with Rey Skywalker. This was the case with The Acolyte of Leslie Headland. This was the case with what was this thing before? There was a show before that got literally most of the stuff that the CW like the what is this thing called? The television group of CW made. Most of that is basically DI content, like diversity, equity, inclusion. And don't get me wrong on this point of the video right now, please don't get me wrong. Like, inclusion is something that is pretty good. Like, people that have, like, limited capabilities, that they also have a chance to work in certain areas and, like, maybe fulfill their dreams if they have some. Like, that is totally fine. But when it actually starts ruining things and take a toll that is, like, unbearable for like, normal people, that is something that should be prevented at all cost. And this is something that is actually happening at Blizzard since the launch of Overwatch 2. Like the hero, like shifting meta design, the lore design that we have right now, everything screams we need help. And this is actually what I'm offering right now. Like from my seat here in Germany, I offer this to Blizzard, bro. My helping hand, so to say. Because, again, I watched many shows, many movies. I have no self-enrichment desires. I am actually one of the most basest person that you can ever find on this planet, like Keanu Reeves, for example, or Denzel Washington, or Morgan Freeman. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to see an Overwatch show with like maybe the animatic style, where maybe Netflix buys the rights and maybe like does something. But like to give you guys like just a little bit exception why that maybe doesn't happen is because in other, like, just like a little side note right now, okay, to don't waste much time for you guys. Blizzard is actually refusing German voice actors, Spanish voice actors, and other country voice actors to pay them money for voice acting heroes, because they already do what many countries and not countries, but like many other entertainment studios did. Like Netflix is the most forerunner in this topic. They bring in a clause that actually forces you to, when you sign this contract, that they have the allowance to actually train the AI with the voice. So these people that have like got a degree in voice acting and have like a career and had like a theatership, like the real life actors that are like doing action scenes in movies, these people are get literally labored out of their job just to spare money. So, and with the sexual stuff that was going on Blizzard, bro, like, again, bro, this company, bro, I don't know, bro, after I read the Epstein files, bro, I would literally say that some companies still are pretty evil with the stuff that they do. And I don't care if some people in the tops that we don't even know the names of decide this shit. It is the general thing that literally pisses me off the most. That some people have hardship desire towards these things and actually are lacklustering behind, and this is maybe the thing why we don't get the Overwatch series, because the people, they don't gonna make much profit with it if they just like fucking use AI people to voice the heroes, because the German audience maybe won't actually be able to watch that stuff. I will literally watch it in English though, because I don't care 100% that much about like which language it is, because I speak, as far as I'm concerned, I speak a bit Spanish, I speak a bit Russian, I speak a bit Japanese, and I speak pretty much English and German. So if I would need to watch it in English, I watch it in English. It doesn't matter for me that much. But to go actually back to the cinematic with Doomfist and Vendetta, I lost track a bit. But like, bro, this is, in my eyes, bro, like, you have this character that was kind of greatly developed and was actually like kind of feelable and relatable on some occasions, that actually had the motive to become humanity stronger and to want to build another war between Omnics and humans, and this guy helped Ramatra. Ramatra know that Doomfist was kind of scheming with him, but he didn't care because Ramatra was aiming for his goal with a pretty hardship desire. And to be honest, it is sad that you actually have the audacity to actually say that you're a company that is actually enriching and actually like going for DEI and like making diversity like a primer goal, when you have a black character and a white character and the white character kills the black character. Like, I just want to show you the hypocrisy that like the studio actually brings to the table. And I know that is a male man that is like a masculine guy and is killed by a woman, but like, it's still like, on one hand they say, bro, like the Black History Month and the black people must be respected, and they just throw a black guy out of the window because reason. And again, to go back to the greater motive that I actually talked about, from my point of view, what I know about Vendetta right now and what I watched that she attacks Overwatch, like, bro, for real, why? Like, Doomfist used Talon's resources to help Null Sector to start a war. Vendetta knows that. Like, she knows that Talon's resources have been used to pump Null Sector so they can start a war with humans. And that reformed Overwatch. And some mercenaries like Anna and Soldier are also out there, attacking and doing things on their own and helping the good and still fighting for the right things. So maybe they come back. I don't know. Then you have completely maniacs and like lunatic people like Reaper or Sigma that are literally just like going everywhere they want and just doing everything they want. Okay, Sigma maybe not 100%ly, but Sigma's actually like, bro, this guy doesn't fucking care if there's a war or not. Like, all he cares for is like that he can somehow accumulate and somehow figure out like what stuff is going on in the universe and like gets the stuff together. The same with Sombra, the same with Moira, and I main Moira, and I know that she is actually doing what I predicted her, because as long as she can do what she wants, which is like genetically evolving humanity, it doesn't matter for her who is in charge of Talon, and since she has a council seat on Talon, it doesn't also bother her if Doomfist is not around or is around there. But to be precise, again, like, if you viewed what actually Vendetta has said to certain heroes inside the game, it is kind of clear that Vendetta is up for revenge, because she says that she's burning with justified vengeance. And I'm asking right now, what kind of like vengeance is she speaking about? Because, like, look, imagine you're in a room, right? Like, you live in an apartment and you have rent to pay to someone that literally owns the apartment that you live in, and you pay this person a rent every month. Like, it doesn't matter how high it is, just like for the context, just like you pay this person like $500 a month, okay? But then you somehow have, like, in this apartment, in this house where this apartment is, you have another apartment where the guy lives that murdered your family, or like your brother, or your sister, or your mom, or your dad, like by Vendetta, for example. And for some reason, you say, like, bro, this is like a situation that can't go on forever. I cried at the grave of my parents and at my family, and I still have hardship desire, and I want to like get revenge for what they did to my family. but then you just go after the guy that actually is renting you the apartment. Like, bro, like, this is the diametrically line that I said earlier that you should actually look to, okay? The guy, Doomfist. Doomfist wasn't in charge of Overwatch when Antonio got killed, as far as we know. Because, or maybe he was a council seat member, as far as we know. Because, like, Antonio got killed by Reaper. By Blackwatch, which was association, a band of 4 people going rogue on Overwatch, or like going rogue as Overwatch, like Black Arms, so to say, like a black side, Black Ops. Going by Reaper, McCree, Genji, and Moira. 3 of these people, or like 2 of these people, became Talon Council members. McCree also worked for Talon, as far as I know, like quite a time. Not much, but like a bit, so to say. Genji went a bit to his own, went into studying with Mondata, like with Mondata's monks, and with Zenyatta later became like Zenyatta's disciple or like apprentice, so to say, like in Star Wars mantra, so to say. And then we have like then we have like McCree, who actually reforms Overwatch with Genji and the others together. And to like fulfill this right now, to go back to the war that I was talking about a bit earlier, you have this war right now that wages on between Ramatra's Null sector and Overwatch forces right now that is rebuilding. Then you have like these certain side characters that are going rogue, that have no alliance to Talon or Overwatch whatsoever, like Soldier, Anna, Freya, and I would actually say Symmetra too, because Symmetra isn't... Like, she stands for Wish Cover. She's actually not joining Talon. She's not actually helping Overwatch. She's like, she's doing what she's want, basically, with Life Weaver, as far as I know. But, like, after all that I have witnessed from the lore right now, I don't know why Vendetta is actually trying or actually wanting to wage war against Overwatch. Like, Talon has deployed resources to Null Sector to help Ramatra building or like getting a war. War is always a profitable or like a profitable, how to say this right now? Like, it is always like a profitable situation for those that try or like that know how to enrich themselves. And that is something that I actually see Maximilian on. Because Maximilian is a financier of Talon and someone that is like the accountant or the money guy, like the Kakutsu from Akatsuki, that is like basically Maximilian and Overwatch. And from my perspective, it is kind of fun that basically someone that is just living for money and for self-enrichment does care who actually leads the organization that he actually is just gathering money for. Like, all that Maximilian did in the cutscene with Vendetta, or like with the slow motion moving, one picture moving comic, so to say, all he did was saving his own skin and exposing some of the, how to say this, like exposing some of the affiliations, some of the dynamics that are actually going on in Talon, and telling Vendetta what like strings and what kind of like wedges are pulled where, and what is actually to be expected, what Talon is actually doing at the moment. And to put that into a bigger frame, into a bigger perspective for the people that actually are caring for that shit, it is... Like, again, I watched many movies and shows in my life. I actually counted them in at the beginning of the video for you guys. And from my point of view, I can relate to Vendetta in no point. And since we got like 3 female, strong, independent women in this game by now, which is like the next one that we will get is Domina. We got Vendetta and we got Freya. So... And we got a clumsy male character, which is Wu Yang, because female empowerment is important, and the male needs to be like incapable of, and needs to be always carried by a strong, independent woman, as I already proved to you guys. It is kind of frightening that I actually have to say this again, But like, or like, not to say this again. I'm sorry. That was the wrong word right now. I must say this for once right now, because I want to end the video on like a certainly good point, so to say. The last good character written that we got in Overwatch that was female was Illari. She feels kinda heavy remorse for the things that she thinks she did wrong. She wants to like actually like redeem herself, or like redeem the things that went wrong, and gives everything in her path to actually like help and make things right that in her eyes she did wrong, and that she needs to pay for, and that she like has, or like that she deserves punishment, so to say. And like the sadness, the depression of her, and the searching, the inner conflict that she has is so relatable, is so well written. And it's sad actually that we live in a time again where women are being in charge of narrative design, that actually, you can actually see it by the way, that actually are only there and are only doing what they want to do with the law by implementing real life narcissistic, like unintellectual stuff, and like agendas and ideologies that no one in the real world can actually relate to, except when you're like one of these delusional morons that I actually talked about a bit earlier and in my other videos. And mark my words, at the end of the video right now, bro, in 50 years maybe, when we watch back on the gaming time today, people like me will be the people that literally spoke the truth about the stuff that is going on. And on my behalf, I hope that Doomfist survives this and comes back somehow, and maybe gets his gauntlet back and fights Vendetta for good, and actually like maybe defeats her and offers her a seat on the council or whatsoever. I don't know what Ramatra is doing with North Sector. We didn't had any good skins with Ramatra or any good lore with Ramatra, what he's actually doing at the moment whatsoever. We don't have Zenyatta lore at the moment. They just met in a comic. We don't have Illari lore. We don't have much Lifeweaver or Symmetra lore. We don't have much lore about retiring members of Overwatch like Anna or Torbjorn whatsoever. We don't, like, literally, there's so many strings of Overwatch characters that are literally lacking out. And what they actually are doing is empowering the female characters that they have implemented into the game recently, by just bringing them into any power post that you can possibly imagine. And this is, again, how I argumentably prove to you guys that by the end of the video right now, this is something that many people can relate with, and is something that needs to be stopped at all costs in my eyes. And from the bottom of my heart, again, I hope that Overwatch succeeds and keeps up being a good game. But take my advice. Take my advice at this point. Review the story, the strings, the stuff that you implemented, the shapes of the story that you want to go with, and think again, and maybe rewrite it on some occasions, or like before you implement newer, bigger lore stuff, review it, redeem some characters, and build a larger thing. Because the outcome of the current situation inside what we know about the lore, that Vendetta is attacking Overwatch and starting a war with Overwatch, is, in my eyes, pretty delusional. Like, I can understand it from a tiny perspective, but it is, again, and I want to say that at the end of the video as well, I said that multiple times by now, I'm sorry by the way, but at the end of the video right now, I want to say that too. Vendetta is searching for revenge. She's searching for revenge. The only character in the game that deserves her revenge, where she cried about her father's death, is Reaper. Instead, she goes for a war. We don't know why. Like, there's no motivation behind. All we know is that Antonio was a council seat member of Overwatch, and I don't know about which empire she's speaking about. Like, that her father had an empire that he was reigning. Like, I literally, this woman maybe has, like, I don't know, like somehow brain damage, and is like on a big egomaniac trip. I don't know, but this is something that needs to stop. It is madness to a degree that I can't actually bring onto words at all. And on this bombshell, let me know what you guys think down in the comment. This is by far one of the most like insane lunatic things I've ever witnessed, brought onto me by a fictional franchise in my entire 28 years lifespan. And I'm tired to say this, but bro, like I miss the time when people were still dedicated writing good characters and lore that we consumed, that we fell in love with, and that we feel with, and that we related towards too. But yeah, this is the new time, this is the DEI time. This is the time that we can't actually focus on following all these characters because they're like written so one-dimensional and so actually like lunatic, crazy, and unfeelable that I actually don't even have words anymore for that shit. And on that bombshell, bro, thank you guys very much for watching this shit. Speak out in my comments, bro. Let me know what you guys think, bro. I love Doomfist, I love Moira, I love Ilari, I love Juno, I love Freya. All these characters, cool characters. I also love Ashe, McCree, Reaper, and Co, Winston, and Sigma. But what Overwatch is doing with the lore at the moment, and I think everybody that has watched this video right now, and everybody that knows the shows that I've spoken about, like all the shows that I mentioned, if you guys have watched them all as much as I did, you should actually, or I think you will agree on the stuff that I said. And yeah, thank you guys very much, and I literally hope that we like somehow get a brink of light in the future. And if they literally kill Doomfist off, bro, it's their game. After all, they can do what they want, but they are not free of criticism and actually some intellectual point of view that some people have and can actually argumentable defend on many occasions like I did in this video. So on behalf, I'm out. I'm gonna play Destiny 2 right now, and yeah, we're gonna see where Overwatch goes, bro. We're gonna see. Thank you guys very much, and I'm tired. I'm out, boys. Good night.